Alright, all you graveyard shift night drivers out there, welcome back to Under the Radar. And this week's Stunts of the Week goes to none other than Jules28 with his stunt, Clip 2, and also to Paradox9355 with his stunt, To the Moon. And the reason why these two stunts made it in? Well, the first one, anybody who is able to use a top of a building like a racetrack only to leap his way to another building that's about a good, 100 feet apart from the other one, is pretty impressive in my book, even though the maestro said it was 300 feet. And the reason why we picked the second stunt, well, mostly so that girls' hospital bills can get paid, and the other reason, well, anytime you see a car do that many barrel rolls, so much so that somebody had to get out of their car and reflect on their actions, it's a good stunt in our book. But besides those good stunts, folks, I think it's time for us to get ready to rev our engines and see what sort of tracks we can find that is absolute gold for this week, for a very special golden milestone edition of the GTA Online Top 5 Tracks of the Week. And the first track that we have up comes from the creator Rui23 Try GTA with her track, Zero Gravity. And the reason why this track made it in for the track of the week, not only because it's a well over 9 3/4 long track, but a track that is so dangerous, folks, that if you get cut off going down that giant oversized hill, there's a high possibility that you'll be flying above your opponents at a moment's notice. So the only tip of advice that I have for you race fans out there is be careful going downhill during this said track. And even be more careful during the sharp turns during the track as well, because there's no barriers, and if you fly off, it will cost you during this race. So get a car with good handling and be careful of weather conditions during this said track. And the next track that we have up comes from the creator Esser_1985 with his track, Supreme Courts. And the reason this track made it in for the tracks of the week, not only because you could pick every car across the board with the exception of the special vehicles, but also because he got a sponsor from Sprung from it. Nice! And seriously, folks, the only tip of advice we have for you fans out there for this said track is after the main straightaway of this said track, be careful of your speed heading toward that sharp turn, because if you're going too fast trying to overtake your opponent and don't pay attention to the turn, it will cost you during this race and most likely flip you over the barricade like a certain Juju I know. Yeah, just saying. And speaking of flipping, folks, the next track that we have up comes from the creator Family1974 with their track 2 Mile Lap, Destroyed. And I know, this track was mentioned during the top 5 tracks of the week in prior segments of the show, but he's upgraded this track and it's bigger, badder, and better than it's ever been before. And now changing it over into a stunt track, giving him the ability to create ramps that goes well over 300, maybe 500 feet in the air is absolutely insane. And also you get the option of using any car you like for this said stunt. And the only warning we have for you for this said track with these high ramps and high velocity like flips you'll be doing in the air is be careful of your opponent, because if you fly into the air and you're gliding doing a whole bunch of gyroscopes like I was, there's a high possibility that your opponent can knock you from underneath and knock you right out of orbit back toward Earth and explode your car upon impact, which will cost you during this race. So, beware of your surroundings while you're in the friendly blue skies. Sam. And the next track that we have up, speaking of going into the friendly blue skies, comes from the creator Odin 2008 with his said track, Stunt 90-Degree Race. And the reason why this track got mentioned for the track of the week for this week, folks, is not only because it gives you a chance to use sports and supercars to their fullest potential, but also because it's a 90 degrees nosedive into the dirt while you're trying to do this track, and some super loops along the way. So yeah, our only tip of advice we have for you fans out there is this. Make sure you watch where your opponent is, 1, and 2, be very careful and stay centered while you're making that 90-degree drop, because if you don't, you will fly off the track and it will cost you during this race. So centered, my friend. Stay centered. And the last but not least track that made it in for this week comes from the creator, Oliver Morgan, or Oliver Mongan, nice name by the way, with their said track, Curly Whirly. And the reason why this track made it in for the tracks of the week, folks, besides having a name that reminds me of something that would be at an amusement park ride during the summer, is the fact that it gives you a chance to teleport from place to place during this said race, and gives you a chance to go through a lot of cool tubes as well. And the only tip of advice we have for you fans out there is to be very careful while you're going through those said tubes. Because if you don't and you're upside down while going through them and don't adjust your car on the way down, your car will explode and it will cost you during this race. And that's something I got a feeling I gotta tell my friends Juju and Jay Meeks next time when we do this track, because I don't think they were listening. And their cars did explode, and that's what got me first place. So don't do what they did and you'll win the race. And with that said, folks, wraps it up for another edition of the GTA Online Top 5 Tracks of the Week. And if you guys want to go ahead and play any of the tracks that we mentioned for this week, plus a couple of other ones we decided to add in, you can go ahead to the Rockstar Social Club page and check out the playlist entitled Jump Gold. And you could win well over, I do believe, $150,000 to $200,000 for all these races. You just got to make sure you have plenty of people and do plenty of laps during all the races. And good luck! And I guess with that said, folks, I think it's time for us to head back into the music, and when we return, we'll be back with the final segment for Under the Radar for this week, right after this. So don't get lost in the madness just yet, folks, and stay tuned.